I think your fake eyelashes are messing up.
No,
what you're
ain't nothing.
reading.
Hold on.
Listen.
How dare you attack the physical appearance of another person?
Are your feelings hurt?
Her words down.
Aw.
Oh, girl, baby girl.
Oh, really?
Don't even play.
Talking about somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body that would not be engaging in personalities, correct?
A what now?
Jasmine Crockett said that Marjorie Taylor Greene's comments about her physical appearance demonstrate that she's, quote, absolutely racist.
Apparently, Marjorie Taylor Greene has never been to Texas, where I live. Everybody's eyelashes are fake here. It's clearly not racist, and Marjorie Taylor Greene isn't racist. She just jumped on whatever came to her first, and they are very big eyelashes, and they were looking her straight in the face, so she commented on the eyelashes.
All right, folks, it is Monday, brand new week here at the Sean Spicer Show. A lot to break down. Is RFK have a plan to get into the debates? We're going to discuss that. What's the status of the NRA? Are they a shell of themselves? Are you going to be a powerhouse? Plus that MTG, Marjorie Taylor Greene, big hubbub with Jasmine Crockett and AOC. And the Democrats have a new Supreme Court justice in their sight. It's not Clarence Thomas. Grant Stinchfield, my old Newsmax buddy, who has a radio show. He's on Real America's Voice at night and has the Grant Stinchfield podcast. He's here to join us to break it all down. Without further ado, my buddy, Grant Stinchfield. Grant, good to see you. You know, I want to start off with the, I don't even know what we've got a nickname for yet. The rumble and the tumble at the, like, watching this Marjorie Taylor Greene and Jasmine Crockett / AOC go at it.
I don't think you know what you're here for.
Well, you the one talking about.
I think your fake eyelashes are messing up.
No,
what you're
ain't
reading.
nothing.
Hold on.
Listen.
That is absolutely unacceptable. How dare you attack the physical appearance of another person?
Are your feelings hurt?
Her words down.
Aw.
Oh, girl, baby girl.
Oh, really?
Curious, just to better understand your ruling. If someone on this committee then starts talking about somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body, that would not be engaging in personalities, correct?
A what now?
I was sort of like, this thing got silly quick, and I wish I could say that I thought it just made everyone look foolish, to be honest with you. But I mean, tell me, did you? Is there anything I'm missing in this whole thing?
No, it was hilariously entertaining, quite frankly. And,
but is it? I mean, can I just say this? Look, I'm all for entertainment, but at some point, this is like, there is a bit of like,
I don't know why.
I mean,
I don't know why I enjoyed it. You know, here, I'll get all the leftists very angry at this. I thought AOC comes off tremendously hot when she gets angry. She's I thought it's totally sexy, AOC angry. It's the only time, but my very special lady friend, I apologize in advance to you for saying AOC was hot when she's angry, but that'll trigger them all. They'll say,
I know. Good for you. The thing that I thought was interesting is the day progressed. It went from like Friday morning being all, this was an embarrassment, this is who started it, to like late in the day, this Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, the Democrat from Texas, who Marjorie was talking about, who said that her eyelashes were fake. Okay, and apparently that's a big feat.
Apparently Marjorie Taylor Greene has never been to Texas, where I live. Everybody's eyelashes are fake here.
I also was like, I'm not sure how that's like the biggest insult in the world. Like, I mean, there's a lot of things you can make fun of, but here's why I bring this up. Jasmine Crockett said that Marjorie Taylor Greene's comments about her physical appearance demonstrate that she's, quote, absolutely racist. Now,
no.
You jumped the shark on this one because I wasn't even thinking about this. But if everyone in Texas, and I know is wearing fake eyelashes, then how is that racist?
Yeah, well, it's clearly not racist, and Marjorie Taylor Greene isn't racist. She just jumped on whatever came to her first, and they are very big eyelashes, and they were looking her straight in the face, so she commented on the eyelashes.
She was also trying to say, like, you don't understand what's going on. Maybe your eyelashes are getting in the way of you seeing what's happening here.
Yeah.
But the thing is, this is Jasmine Crockett, right? She says, quote, she is a racist. I mean, I don't have any question about that. Because, I mean, I don't know that she's ever attacked her own colleagues, referring to Greene's comments during a hearing that descended into chaos after the Georgia lawmaker taunted Crockett over her false eyelashes. She noted that Greene hasn't attacked other colleagues over their appearance, including Rep. Lauren Boebert, even though the two have feuded. Now, here's the fun part. Her and Boebert aren't getting along. Boebert has clip-ins in her hair, and Boebert wears lashes too sometimes. It looks like, and I don't know, but she doesn't attack her for any of her physical embellishments. She doesn't do that, right? But she decided to do it to me. She's absolutely a racist. I'm like, so let's just be clear here. If you don't attack Lauren Boebert's, I guess this is hair extensions. I'm not entirely, has clip-ins in her hair. And you attack her eyelashes, that's the predicate for becoming a racist.
Yeah, I mean, how does she explain Marjorie Taylor Greene attacking Mike Johnson? Now, I don't know if she's ever made fun of Johnson's glasses or that he looks kind of like a dork, but she attacks him. He's a white guy. And I don't even know, are Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene still fighting? I'm pretty good friends with Lauren. She hasn't ever even mentioned Marjorie Taylor Greene to me. I don't even know.
I think like that, but I mean, regardless, I think the idea was, well, you never made fun of her physical appearance and you made fun of my physical appearance. All right. I've been telling you this for weeks. If you are looking for the most unique, meaningful gift for someone, the folks at Paint Your Life have got you covered. And I'm going to help you even more because I know when I'm going to a wedding or I've got a birthday coming up, you're always like, what's the perfect gift for them? The perfect gift is come up with a picture. Now, this is what I did. I used a picture of me. You don't need to obviously use a picture of me, although you're welcome to do that. But they can take a single picture, multiple pictures. It can be people that you want to get together in a compilation painting. And the people at Paint Your Life, when you text Spicer to 87204 in a very quick, efficient process, will show you how to upload your photos. And then you get to pick the kind of painting that you want. So it could be watercolor, charcoal, acrylic, you name it. You pick your frame and then you choose your artist. And as the artist renders the painting, they send videos to you for your approval, 100% guarantee. But the cool part is you really make just an unbelievable, meaningful gift for somebody. So think about that family get together, that special family person, that wedding, whatever it is, birthday, you will have a gift that nobody else will give. And the best part is the folks at Paint Your Life, for the viewers of the show, have an unbelievable deal. You get 20% off and free shipping. And like I said, when you text Spicer to 87204, it could not be an easier process. Just try it. Try it. I played around with this. It is so cool what you can do, and you will not disappoint. Remember that message and data rates do apply. Crockett goes on, right? And she's making, asking the chair, it's James Comer, for a ruling. And she says, I'm just curious to better understand your ruling. If someone on this committee then starts talking about somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body, that would be engaging in personalities, correct? So she can, if Marjorie Taylor Greene comments on Jasmine Crockett's false eyelashes, which apparently she's from Texas, everyone in Texas, according to you, wears fake eyelashes, that's not really racist. But if she says that Marjorie Taylor Greene is bleach blonde, bad built butch, that's not a racist comment.
I mean, Jasmine Crockett brought the heat. You know, you're gonna say something to one person, they're gonna bring the heat back twice as hard. So I found the whole thing entertaining. I don't think it has anything to do with making laws or policy in Washington, D.C., other than the fact that you got Jasmine Crockett, who she loves to try to make her own waves. Marjorie Taylor Greene certainly likes to make waves. You got that aspect of the two of them battling it out. I don't know. I found the whole thing fun.
I think the thing that was interesting to me is that Comer's sitting there going, I got, what did he say? I have, I can't hear. I have hearing aids in. I don't know what you guys are saying, but it was like watching a dad when the kids fight because they're down on the lower dais. They're yelling at each other. Comer's like, what the heck is going on with the kids down there?
Even he looked at Jamie Raskin, who I don't think those two have ever agreed on anything. And I think they looked at each other like, what the hell's going on here?
Right. But it was funny. It evoked to me, remember when Senator Mark Wayne Mullen decided that he was going to, I think it was the UAW union chief, and Mark Wayne Mullen was like, come on here, let's take it on. And I'm like, that was the female House equivalent of that fight. I was actually shocked that neither one of them got up. Marjorie Taylor Greene and Jasmine Crockett both stayed in their seats, but I was like, oh, boy, are they getting up?
Now, if that happened, all my money is going on Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Oh, but I mean, look, here's the thing. She said it. bleach blonde, bad built butch bod. Marjorie Taylor Greene was a CrossFit. I mean, she is a fitness guru. I'm telling you, I wouldn't want to cross her. She might even be able to take on Mark Wayne Mullen, for goodness sakes.
But then what happens here is, see, AOC then jumps down.
That's where I was going to
salt in Marjorie Taylor Greene's eyes. And then maybe Lauren Boebert, you think that she's the villain, but she takes a folding chair and then crashes it over the other, and then they end up body slamming, then down, and it turns into a cage match.
But here's the thing. AOC, I mean, you bring her, you name checked her. She calls her a baby girl. That. I felt like we were watching a bunch of girls on the playground.
We were.
Baby girl,
That's
don't
exactly
you go
what
there.
It was.
But you know what the kicker was? I got to say this. This is the funniest part about the whole thing, right? You brought up Lauren Boebert. At the end of this, right? At the end of this whole exchange, Lauren Boebert takes the mic and apologizes to the American people on behalf of the entire committee.
I just want to apologize to the American people. I don't think that this is the best use of our time when we are squabbling. It's one thing to have fun and laugh as members of Congress and try to find humor or some sort of lightheartedness in what we are doing. But when things get as heated as they have, it's unfortunately an embarrassment on our body as a whole. And so I just want to personally apologize to the American people for that.
It was Lauren Boebert who became the voice of reason. And I just, to me, this was I felt like there should have been they should take this from C-SPAN to some kind of reality TV show and be like the Real Housewives of the House Government Reform Committee.
It might make a good show, actually. Certainly better than what I watch on CNN.
Oh, if you put MTG, Lauren Boebert, Jasmine Crockett, and AOC in a house, it would be you'd get rid of the deficit. You'd get rid of the deficit. You would literally charge $19.95 a month. You would have a worldwide. I would pay for that.
I would.
Can you imagine? Who ate my sandwich? Who ate my sandwich, baby girl?
I would be switching from Maine Cabin Masters to that in a heartbeat.
Can you imagine that? Did someone wear my blouse? My jacket here? My jacket. Who wore it? You didn't zip it up right. Oh, that would be killer. I would love that. All right. I want to move on to an interesting next story that I thought was fascinating. House Republicans, at that hearing, by the way, they were voting to hold Merrick Garland in contempt.
Yeah.
And here's the thing that I find fascinating. I feel like we are and maybe you can help me with the phrase or but we keep doing this. We're going to hold you in contempt. Yeah. Steve Bannon's going to jail. Peter Navarro's going to jail. They defied a BS subpoena from a ridiculous, not real congressional committee, the January 6th one that literally Pelosi chose the minority members on for the first time in history. They defy that subpoena. They're going in or going to jail. And yet House Republicans have now issued subpoenas for Hunter Biden. We've, thought about investigating Joe. We are holding Merrick Garland in contempt. And yet we never pull the trigger. We're always like, oh, let's hold him in contempt. And they thumb their nose at us. And for all these people that are cheering that Peter Navarro's sitting in a jail or that Steve Bannon, why are we? It's I don't get our side.
I get it. I 100% get it. We are giant wussies. Present company excluded, of course. Sean,
that was the phrase I was looking for. That was the phrase.
We're wuss bags. You could really jazz it up and say we're wussies with a P. I mean, honestly, why can Republicans not learn how to fight? It was amazing, Sean. You know this. When President Trump was in office, all of a sudden Republicans had backbone. People I'd never seen fight before were standing up and they were fighting and they were taking Democrats to task. The moment President Trump left office, it's like they rolled over and a bunch of golden retrievers on their backs.
It's because you know what it is? When you say this, you know what it is, I know you work out a lot. We were talking about Marjorie working out. When you have a trainer, there's a level of accountability. You go to the gym, and I've probably done this 4 times in my life. Yeah. But whenever I join somewhere, they're like, it comes with 1 free training session. That's my extent of the training sessions. But when there's somebody sitting there watching you, and they go, you can get 10 pull-ups in or whatever, you're like, okay, I can do this, and they won't let you stop. They're like, 2 more, go, 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 go. And when President Trump was in office, He was the trainer standing behind them. Get back out there. You can do this one more time. Get out there. Start. I mean, he had their back, and he was the trainer standing behind them saying, no, keep going. And now that he's gone, they're like, oh, I don't know. I just can't do it.
Well, I'd ask you this. What do you think the Democrats would do if a Republican attorney general didn't give up the tapes? They'd hold him in contempt in a second.
To your point, they'd impeach him. And then they would, I mean, these guys impeached President Trump when he was out of office. They didn't care. They didn't hold an impeachment hearing. It went straight to, they defied everything and no one cared. And yet we're sitting around being like 1842, the price, like case precedent on, like, what is the problem?
I had Laura Trump on my radio show on Friday. And Laura Trump said something I've never heard somebody in a position of power say, and I was so glad she said it. And I knew what she meant. The media might take it out of context, but I knew what she meant. She said, the Democrats play so dirty. Maybe it's time we play a little dirty. And she wasn't meaning breaking the law or anything like that. I know. But she was saying, let's get down and dirty. Let's street fight it. And I was so glad to hear somebody at the RNC say, you know what? Maybe it's time we get down and dirty and start fighting and scrapping like they do. And it was the first time I had heard somebody in that high a position inside the Republican Party talk like that wasn't a Freedom Caucus.
But because here's the difference, though. When Democrats do it, they know they have the media on their side. So they cast a vote like this. They do something hypocritical. And the media turns a blind eye. And frankly, 9 times out of 10 doesn't cover it, right? So they know they can get away with it. When we do it, the reason our side gets scared is they're like, oh, I'm going to get, there's going to be a story in the New York Times or Politico. And it's the same. The problem is every time that there's an issue that comes up, these guys back away from a fight.
Sean.
And it's that, look, here's the one last thing I'll tell you, though, because look at what we did with George Santos. Oh, we've got to get rid of George Santos. He's a plague on our house. Bob Menendez has gold bars stuffed in a jacket that says United States Senate Bob Menendez. Henry Cuellar down in Texas has the 3 closest people to him signing plea deals. And nothing, no movement, no nothing. Right. We are wusses. And their side, not one Democrat. And it's over and over again. There is 2 sets of rules. And I agree with Laura. Why do we care?
Right.
Stop worrying that Politico is going to cover it differently or that CNN's going to say something.
Let me tell you something where I learned this. And when I worked at the NRA over at NRA TV, when the NRA was a beast, okay, it's a shell of itself now, and it's really sad. But when it was a beast, we loved the negative publicity. We wanted the New York Times writing articles about us and the Washington Post. And the Washington Post, here's the dirty little secret, wanted the NRA blasting the Washington Post and the New York Times. And when I watched, to get back to our original conversation, when I watched AOC go after Marjorie Taylor Greene or Jasmine Crockett, I said, you know what? This relationship is symbiotic. They both benefit from this going back and forth with each other, just like the NRA and the New York Times benefited from fighting with each other. You rally your base up, but there are so many idiots in Congress with an R next to their name that do not understand the way to rally your base up is to show them that you are willing to fight. You're willing to throw punches. You're willing to get down and dirty, and they will run to back you up. But they're so afraid of negative publicity. Negative publicity is the greatest thing going if you do it the right way.
Unfortunately, the way the world is right now, we know that something is going to happen to knock the power out. Sometimes it could be a natural disaster. We've all seen the extreme weather that's happening. It could be an attack on our power grid because over and over again, we hear the warnings about that's going to happen. The question is, are you going to be prepared? All the things that we think about that matter to us, our phones, our computers, our refrigerator, are critical. Will we have power? I know I will. I've got the Patriot Power Generator 2000X in my house. And if you go to 4patriots.com/Spicer, you can too. The coolest part about the Patriot Power Generator 2000X, I've had generators in the past. They rely on gas. The gas it has a ton of fumes that comes out of the generator. It makes a ton of noise. The Patriot Power Generator 2000X relies entirely on solar panels. They come free with it. They come free with it. Let me repeat that. And the Patriot Power Generator 2000 can go in your house. There's no noise. There's no fumes. It's portable. You can bring it into your house. You can put it in your car. You can bring it to your friend's house, your family member's house, and it powers everything for hours, including a refrigerator. Do not wait. Go to 4patriots.com/Spicer so that you are ready when a disaster hits. I had someone ask me in a conversation last week about what was different with President Trump, and everyone's got their take. But my take was this. I said, I've been a conservative through college, right? And I always felt like we were getting told, sit down and shut up. You're going to be canceled. We're not going to bring you up. We're going to call you all these names. For the first time, and we had watched every president sort of apologize any time that a comment came out. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it that way. I'm sorry that someone took it that way. I apologize if anyone was offended. Trump said, screw you. Stand up and fight. This is stupid. Why are we saying that girls should be playing in boys' sports? Why are we saying blah, blah, blah? Why are we like, he gave us the ability to say, oh, wait a second. Actually, most people are with us if we have a backbone and stand up and show that we fight on principles, and we're not as scared of the vocal minority that the left is, then we can win. And I think we finally started to realize that. And I think that's the difference here, is that these guys got to realize that that's the difference, is that we can stand up and fight and actually win. And I don't know why they get so scared of their own shadow. Every time there's an issue, it's like, I'm going to send out an apology and say, I'm really sorry that people were offended by this. But look at what's happening. Look at the Bob Menendezes of the world and the Henry Cuellars and all these people who break rule, who are up against, I mean, those are actual crimes.
Right.
What George Santos did was, George Santos is a fraud and a gadfly, right? What they did is they are accused of bribery and
Let
taking
me tell you something
money.
about George Santos, though. So I've gotten to know this guy. He may have had all those problems. He was more conservative in the United States House of Representatives than most of those Republicans were. I did a story that the most surprising conservative in Washington, and George Santos was the winner. He voted almost always with the Freedom Caucus. Nobody even understood this. He was a reliable, hard right vote, and they kick him out for what? I thought it was ridiculous they kicked him.
But here's the thing. Okay, and I agree. But the thing that's so funny is then they have Bob Menendez and Henry Cuellar, both credibly accused of bribery.
Far worse than anything George Santos did.
Right? But here's the thing. Neither one of them, not only is their own party, Republicans won't even attack them. They're like, hands off.
Yeah.
Hands off. Oh, we can't talk about Bob Menendez.
Because it's the uniparty. And Bob Menendez is part of that. This is the old-fashioned, the old guard who refuses to let anybody infiltrate them, and they act as one. I've always said I was a firm believer that Nancy Pelosi and Kevin McCarthy and Chuck Schumer and Senator McConnell are literally toasting scotches in the bottom of the Capitol. They're toasting every night. The joke is on
here's
all
the thing.
of us.
I'll actually take you one better. It's not in the basement of the Capitol. And this is where I think this is where it stems from. They want to toast it at the parties. These guys love getting invited to stuff. And when you're the turd in the punch bowl, when you call this stuff out, you don't get invited.
Right.
And I've put my finger on it. And look, I've said this before for anyone who wants to Google and be like, a Spicer went to this party. And yes, I did. I'm a recovering. I admit it. I'm step 8. I have a ways to go. I'm not there yet.
Right.
But I've put my finger on it, which is these Republicans believe if they suck up, if they say the right thing, they'll get invited to the parties and they will be in part of the social scene and they will clink the glasses with the Pelosi's and with the folks at ABC, and they will be in the party headlines and get their photo in the social magazines and they get to bring their wife. And the point is, if you want to get invited to the parties, you can't be the person that exposes all of that and calls it out.
See, this is the difference. This is the difference between you and me, and we're such good buddies. It shows it can come together. You will be in Washington this weekend, clinking champagne with the ruling class, the elites of D.C. I'm going to the NRA convention, baby, and I'm not going to any special classes. I'm going to be walking that floor and meeting everybody.
Okay, well, I'll keep an eye on that. Can I just ask you this? You brought it up, and you're going to the convention.
Yes.
When I started in politics, I did my first race 30 years ago in 1994. That scorecard, the mail that the voter cards that the NRA put out, that was gold, man. They were a key aspect of any congressional race.
Yes.
When you said they're a shell of themselves, where does, if the NRA used to be a 10, where is it now and why? And I would ask you, can it turn itself around?
The NRA today is a 3, if that. Not that it's not working to do good, it is. and it is a well-meaning organization, but it has adopted exactly what we're talking about. The establishment mentality of running scared. The NRA never ran scared. If there was one group in Washington, D.C., the lobbyists in the NRA stood tall. Many of them were wearing cowboy boots. And you know what? They were badasses.
Oh, listen, when I worked on Capitol Hill, those guys called and said, we're key voting this. It was like, okay, got it.
Yes.
You know, people were scared because the NRA
you know
had
where
power.
that power came from? That power came from 5 million members, 100%.
Yes.
They would go, Wayne LaPierre would send a message out to the members. The message would all call their members of Congress, and it was a huge amount of power. And we rallied the troops through triggering the Washington Post, going out there and saying very strong, poignant messages about the Second Amendment. Screw anybody else who doesn't agree with us. The NRA got totally away from that. When was the last time you see the NRA make big news except for the fact of being in court someplace and losing to Letitia James or paying monster legal bills? It has not happened since, honestly, since Dana Lash and myself and Dan Bongino was there. Since the three of us were there, the NRA has not made any news.
Well, not only any news, I can't tell you, like, I remember Charleston Heston and obviously Wayne LaPierre, but like the NRA has been led by some strong people. I don't even know. I mean, I don't know if it'd be post Wayne, if there's like a temporary CEO or whatever, but it's not even, I don't think if you went on Capitol Hill, you wouldn't know who the leader of it is.
Do you know what Wayne told me? The leader right now is Andrew Rulon Underham. They'll be talking about who will be the next leader at the convention. We should know by the time of airing of this. So the leader's Andrew Rulon Underham. The problem is the NRA is running out of money right now. They're not motivating members. They don't have any power. They're running scared. They're paying legal bills through the roof. And you're right. Wayne LaPierre told me when I was there, he said his biggest fear was the NRA becoming irrelevant. And you know what today?
Wait.
The NRA is irrelevant.
Is there a way back?
Yes. Easy. All you have to do is go back to the old ways. You spend a little money on media and start going out and on the attack. Start attacking people that you wouldn't expect to attack. Start making news, make a splash, do wild things. And you know what? You will motivate the membership to a fever point. And they can take the NRA back to some of the strongest points ever. It's the NRA, for crying out loud. I would normally say it's too big to fail, but I'm worried about that right now because they're running so scared. They need a set of cojones, and they need to go on the offensive, and they need to do it in a very public way, and the NRA comes roaring back. I just don't know if they have the stones to do it right now.
But the they is somebody, right?
Yeah.
Is it a board? Or
the board is ingrained in many of the old ways. There was always a battle over what we were doing at NRA TV and what the establishment wanted us to do. But when NRA TV was on the top of its game, and you remember Dana Lash and the Parkland thing, and we were really doing some great things, that's when the NRA was at its height. And as soon as that collapsed, really the NRA collapsed with it. Now, there were financial problems surrounding all of that, but this is the same microcosm of Washington. Old guard, new guard, and a battle, and the old guard, sadly, is more entrenched than the new, and they're winning.
That's unfortunate. In the last several weeks, there's been a lot of news about a certain politician and how they handled an issue with a dog that they didn't want. One of the options could have been what Leo Grillo has built. Delta Rescue, deltarescue.org. Check it out. Look at the great work that Leo Grillo has done to take care of animals, dogs, horses, cats, you name it. DeltaRescue.org is a no-kill sanctuary that provides all of the support for animals. It's not a shelter. Shelters are temporary. Leo built a sanctuary for life at DeltaRescue.org. And like I've told you before, if you've watched the show, check out the videos. You will see it. And if you're an animal lover, if you've rescued a dog or a cat or any other animal, you will be taken in by what Leo has built. It's amazing, but it relies solely on the donations of people like you and me. It's $50, $100, $1,000, maybe a recurring gift, but even more so to make this an enduring mission, something that lasts longer than all of us, and it will keep going after Leo as well, is to download that estate planning kit and think about making it part of your estate, because that's how we make sure that there's always a place that will provide the love, the need, the veterinary and nutritional support for animals that nobody else is going to take care of. Please go to deltarescue.org and check it out. I want to get back to Capitol Hill for a second, because the other big thing that happened last week is that Biden blocked this issue of executive privilege, right? He has this audio interview with Robert Hur, the special counsel. They want to force Merrick Garland to give it over. Garland actually, I thought was an unbelievable play. He goes to Biden and says, you might want to tell me to invoke executive privilege, wink, nod, hint, hint. And Biden says, yes, Attorney General Garland, I will invoke executive privilege. Here's the question that I want to ask from you. This may be a curveball. Are we going to regret doing that? Meaning, Trump's getting back in office. I'm convinced of this, right? And if House Republicans set the precedent that audio recordings from the president are fair game, are we going to regret that decision?
Well, remember, it's them that said it first. Ivanka Trump, Jared Kushner tried to claim executive privilege. No. Peter Navarro, Steve Bannon. Peter Navarro's sitting in a prison because
but the difference was, and notice how I said this. This was different. What Garland did was this is their loophole. He went to Biden and said, tell me that you are invoking executive privilege. What Navarro did is said, I'm invoking President Trump's executive privilege, which the court said you can't invoke a president's executive privilege, which is exactly why Garland did what he did. I think he had seen the pieces on the chessboard and said, in order to make this whole stick, I need to tell him to tell me.
So what you're telling me is we're getting back to where we were before. The Democrats are always one step ahead of us. Garland knew the loophole, so he went to the president and carried out the loophole. The bottom line is it's a loophole. Anytime you're trying to work loopholes means you're on the wrong side of this thing, right? So here's the thing. I want executive privilege to be used when you're allowed to use executive privilege, whether it's a Republican or a Democrat, okay? I understand there's executive privilege for a reason. This does not seem to fall into that. You have an investigation, a criminal investigation, by the way, going on into the president. Did he mishandle classified information? Why does the president of the United States get special anything in an investigation? He's no better than any of us. Yes, he holds the greatest title in the world, but he's no better than us. So if you're allowed to use executive privilege for something that's going to have a national security implication, then I'm all for it, Democrat or Republican. If you're not allowed to use it, well, then there's a problem. This had nothing to do with conversations as Joe Biden in the Oval Office talking about strategy. This is a criminal investigation. You knew you were being taped. You knew the world could end up hearing this. If you were too dumb to say something stupid, then that's on you.
I think that's the point you're making is the right one, which is executive privilege is meant so that the president can have conversations with their national security advisor, their press secretary, their chief of staff, and say, how do I
investigator?
If you're talking to someone outside of that, I don't see how that applies. All right. Speaking of outside advisors, courtrooms, etc. I've been fascinated, and it was funny. I called this like a week ago. As soon as Rick Scott showed up outside the courtroom in New York, I was like, dude, this is starting something. And sure enough, the next day it's J.D. Vance and Vivek Ramaswamy. Then the day after that, it's Matt Gaetz, Lauren Boebert, Andy Ogles. What do you make of these guys going up in New York and hanging outside? Because it was Gates, Anna Paulina Luno, Michael Cloud from Texas, Lauren Boebert, Andy Biggs, Andy Ogles, Eli Crane, Diana Harshberger. It's become the new cool place to be.
Well, it absolutely is. And notice who it is. It's all basically Freedom Caucus people that aren't afraid to be seen supporting this or what that might happen in their swing district or what's going to happen. They're up there to support President Trump because he's getting railroaded. And I wish every member of Congress would make time to go up there, have a giant crowd up there. I wish they'd let the people of New York in, quite frankly. All of a sudden, somehow you're not allowed to come in and see a trial. Why?
Well, they only have like 5 seats.
Well, still, I mean, do a lottery in the morning. Do a lottery.
Would you want cameras in the courtroom?
Yes.
See, I'm not a cameras in the courtroom kind of guy.
Well,
here's the thing. I get why it works for us now. I'd like to see this. But
let
I
me
also
ask you, why are you not a cameras in the courtroom guy?
Because I think it changes the dynamic. I think that suddenly you have judges I mean, maybe I'm just tainted by OJ's trial, but I felt like Samuel Alito was posing for the cameras. Well, look, you're laughing. I've been tainted by the OJ trial.
30 years ago, whatever.
Listen, it made an effect on me. I think that like it changes the dynamic.
Let me give you a constitutional perspective. Okay. And a guy who was a former like mainstream media guy. I'm ashamed to say it, but I worked for the NBC system for 20 something years. The court is supposed to be open to the public. Anybody can go into any trial anywhere. You can go in.
Right.
The media's job is to take the public places where they can't be. I was at Ground Zero. The public can't be at Ground Zero. You get cameras there, right? Everyone can't be in the courtroom, but you have a right to be in the courtroom. Cameras go in the courtroom. You're only showing the public what they have a right to see for their own eyes, but you're just taking them there. If you got judges playing up to the camera, that's the judge's problem. I can't control everybody else, but the public has a right to be in that courtroom. The public has a right to see what's going on in there.
They are in the courtroom, though. They're just not a lot of them.
Well, I mean, anybody has a right to go in there. And if you live in Iowa, you can't get to New York. That's what the media is for. Put a camera in there. Let us see what's happening.
All right. I don't know. You've given me something to think about. I'll think about it. I haven't been there yet. But speaking of cameras in the courtroom, etc., the Dems have their ire set on a new Supreme Court justice. Samuel Alito is I think they moved on. They were like, we got you, Kavanaugh. Then Kavanaugh didn't falter. Then they've been going after Clarence Thomas for 2 decades. That guy is as solid as a rock. So now it's Samuel Alito. So check this out. Dick Durbin, the senator from Illinois, says that Samuel Alito should recuse himself from any case on January 6th because apparently around January 6th, his wife had taken a U.S. flag, flown it upside down on their flagpole, and a neighbor took a picture of it. I guess apparently, and I've known that historically that was a sign of
distress
and whatever, discontent. But apparently there was also this side note that it was part of the Stop the Steal thing. So Samuel Alito says, hey, look, my wife flew the flag in response to a neighbor putting a bunch of signs next to our house, attacking me, my family, Donald Trump. And this was her way of responding. I wasn't part of it or whatever. The New York Times thinks like that. I'm sure they're going to get a Pulitzer Prize for this.
It's ridiculous.
But I don't. I feel like I don't. I'm like, it wasn't like he had a sign that said "Stop the Steal." She put the U.S. flag upside down, like the government was in distress. I don't know what her thinking is, to be honest, because no one's asked her. But I also think this is a pretty big stretch to suddenly say a Supreme Court justice should recuse himself because their wife, their spouse, because it could play either way.
I'll tell you one little quick story. So one of my first days at our former employer's network, Newsmax, one of my first days on air, I always wear a law enforcement pin that's a flag. Do you know it was upside down? It was an accident. I had not meant to do it, but I was beside myself that I had a flag upside down on my, and I was, on Newsmax and all, like a few people noticed, not a lot of people noticed. Luckily it was in the early days. We weren't getting a ton of viewers, but it's a big deal to fly the flag upside down. But it doesn't mean that Samuel Alito has to recuse himself from J6. How do you even make the tie to J6? You're flying the flag upside down. Yes, it means you're upset with your government or in distress. She says it's about her neighbors. Maybe she's making a sign to your neighbors. You're causing us to be in distress. Doesn't mean you recuse yourself. It's a stretch.
It's funny you bring that, not funny, but I remember I was at the White House one day and I had a flag pin and I was very proud to wear, you feel proud when you're in government. I don't know. When I stood outside at that podium, it was always like, it made me feel good that I was representing the United States. And some reporter was being a total pain in the ass because it had tilted, as you know, like sometimes that happens.
Right.
And I like you, I felt embarrassed because I was like, I'm proud of it. I wanted to, but this gets back to this idea that suddenly you have to recuse yourself. And frankly, here's my thing. Let's say Samuel Alito's wife did believe something. She should have to explain herself, maybe, but why is it incumbent upon him? The idea that somehow he's responsible for his spouse's views on everything. If we're going to go down that rabbit hole, well, let's go, baby. because I have a feeling a lot of Democrats don't want to be talking about their spouse and what they've done.
Yeah, let's go.
I mean, I get it. By the way, you know what happens? You do a Bob Menendez, you just throw her under the bus.
Is Ketanji Brown Jackson married? Let's go look at her husband's social media posts and see if he said anything negative. I mean, it's ridiculous.
All right, I want to get to another subject before we run out of time. The debates were announced last week. We could talk about the debates in general, but the thing that I have found fascinating is this notion about whether or not RFK should or should not participate. So I want to go down this methodically and logically for a second. So let's not get ahead of ourselves if we can.
Okay.
The two campaigns, now it was started by Biden, and I just want to be clear on that because some of the media reportings are like both campaigns didn't want RFK in. It was Joe Biden that said, here are my criteria, and one of them was no third-party candidates. If you were representing the Trump campaign, would you want RFK in the debate or not?
So I like having these conversations with you because you actually had these conversations with who was the president of the United States, soon to be the next president of the United States, right? So privately, all right, I'm going to give people, if I was in the room pulling the curtain back, privately, I would say, Mr. President to President Trump, I think it's best just you and Joe Biden going at it. You get more time. It's going to be better. Publicly, from the Trump campaign, I would say, you're welcome on the stage. I'm happy to have all comers, all takers. Long as you meet the criteria or whatever it is, you're allowed on the stage. That would be my public. Privately, it's probably better him and Joe Biden just because you get more time. So that's where that's how I would come at it.
Yeah. And I also think that RFK is going to show that it would want to punch a little both ways. And it's to your point, like you have to double box. You have to be like, I'm going this way and then this way.
Right.
I actually think that your position is exactly where I would be, which is privately tell the president, it's not that you can't handle it, but you should be going mano a mano, highlighting your policies versus Joe Biden's policies. Because frankly, that's the fight right now as I'm concerned. Whenever I tell anyone who has a concern about President Trump, I say, compare 4 years with the current 4 years. Do you tell me which one you like? Stop trying to talk about tweets and stupid crap. The reality is the world and the country were in a better place because of Trump. If RFK gets in there, it's another angle that you're playing three-dimensional chess. All right, so here's where I want to go next on this. One of the things and this is why I bring to, like, the Federal Election Commission actually is very clear about criteria. You can't have, because they're public airways and the way that the FEC rules is that, like, if the media were to invite one candidate on, there's a value to that. It's money. And so in order to get around it being a contribution, they basically say, if you're going to do something like a debate, there have to be open and fair criteria, meaning you can't do something that excludes RFK. Right. You have to say the criteria are the following. You have to be at 15%. You have to be on X number of ballots. And then anybody can get in because the system's not supposed to be rigged to give a gift, which is airtime, to somebody. And so there's two schools of thought right now that RFK should sue CNN and say, CNN, your criteria is not in accordance with the law. Currently, RFK actually is saying, I don't want to do that. I'm going to make it. I'm going to hit 15% and I'll be on enough ballots by June to get to 270.
That's the key. I would ask him, are you on enough ballots? I think he probably
he's not
get
now.
To 15%. No, he's not. I don't know if he's going to be. I mean, maybe he is. I don't know. But he better be if you're going to come on the debate stage. Because you can't have a guy come on the debate stage, even someone with the persona of RFK Jr., if you're not on a majority of the ballots, you can't win. I mean, like,
but here's my case. If I were him, I'd say I'm at 15%. I'm getting ballot access. I'm on, 15 of 50 states. I'm on a path to get to 40. But you guys are the ones who move the schedule up, right? Some ballots, some states don't let you qualify until a certain time, or they have certain criteria. And so if you're RFK, you go, well, wait a second. I'm not there yet, but I will be. But you guys set this debate historically early. I'm on a path to do this. And why not let me on?
All right. So if I'm President Trump, I say, RFK, go have it out in the courts. You're welcome on the stage with me. If they say it's good, we'll go. Right. I'll tumble with you. No problem. Go have it out. And I wouldn't get into the argument with it about RFK Jr. That would be my advice to President Trump.
You and I are simpatico on that because that's That's where I'm at. Just like let him figure out his battle. If he can get on, he can get on. But don't publicly try to keep him off because you'll look like you're let Biden be that guy. Let Biden be the one who says no.
And let's face it, Biden is the one who wants him off because right now RFK Jr. is taking big time votes from Biden.
Oh, yeah. At the end of the day, we who talk about stuff every day know a lot. But to the average voter, they just hear Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and you go, oh, Democrat. Like he is a default Democrat for so many people. And if you don't like Joe Biden and you want to vote for a Democrat, you know, it's like, oh, great. You feel like you're comfortable voting for a leftist because that's what he is.
And let me just be clear. Exactly. He still is a leftist. He still is a Democrat. He just believes in free speech.
Right. And he has a problem with vaccines.
Right.
But that's it. Grant Stinchfield, always great to kick off the week with you. Thanks for being here. Obviously, you guys can see Grant like everywhere between the radio show, the podcast, Real America's Voice. Yeah. I don't know that there's anywhere he's not. The hardest working guy on the right. Grant, thanks for being with us.
Yeah, and you're the folks, best, buddy. Thank you.
I appreciate it. All right, you guys, thanks for kicking off your week with us. We got a great week ahead. Please remember to subscribe. Hit that notification button. YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, iTunes. I don't care where you get the thing. And remember, we've got another big giveaway later this week. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Well, if you enjoyed this content, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and click the notification bell to get more.